World Turns.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Queers and Soaps. I'm Angel, and I'm joined by my co-host Eric.
Hi.
Today, we're watching As the World Turns from 1987, from October the 2nd to October the 13th. Let's roll the credits. But an exciting week. We finally got patterns, which I'm happy about. So I want to get over this Lily and Holden stuff first. No, because it kind of goes with the other stuff.
It kind
Sort of. So we
it
can't
kind of
just
goes with that. So October 2nd, 1987. Dusty is all mad. What's that girl's name again? I did not catch
Pamela.
her name, and thank you. I really couldn't
It's
remember it.
okay. I only know her name because I saw the credits. So I'm like, oh yeah, that's who that is.
she's hardly on. She's really not in the mix of anything, but she's just around Dusty all the time.
She is all over Dusty.
And why is Dusty mad? I forget. That Holden left Lily, he heard, or something, but Holden's still with Lily, so I was confused about that.
Yeah, I was confused about that too. I was like, why? Like, what? No.
Maybe because Lily's not talking to him. I don't know. And he knew that Holden, because remember Holden did leave her at one point and then got arrested and all that. So maybe he's just found out about it. Meg talks to Holden and Lily. She thinks that James is at the door, but it's Tonio. So I guess she heard from James because she's hearing his voice or something. I was confused about that. So we must have missed something. Antonio is a sexy beast, by the way.
He's like, he can get that.
I was like, this man's growling on me and that. All right. And he doesn't seem like a bad guy. Even though he met up with James and stuff, and I'm like, James is kind of forcing him to do stuff. So it's like, I don't know. I like him though. Nick, the police sergeant who's in cahoots with James.
Rookie. He's a rookie.
Yeah, this was good stuff. I was excited. That's why I told you this.
I like this a lot.
The other day I was only gonna watch one, but I watched three because I'm like, I gotta watch more. I need more. Just like Knots Landing over the past 344 hours. So Nick goes to Emily's, questions her. Babs sees a shadow and whips out a gun, but it's Duncan, and he broke out of jail. So I guess we missed that. I don't know if they showed that he broke out or what. And he wants her help with things, and he basically like blackmails her, kind of like, I'll tell you that you knew where James was, if whatever. Everybody's blackmailing everybody. It feels like in these.
Yeah, it's blackmail city.
I put the James contact Meg because she's freaking out. So I don't know. Maybe I don't know if I don't know. I wish we would have had a flashback of that because we just had like a voiceover. Yeah, she's having weird thoughts of James's voice as she's talking to Tonio. Tom comes by to check on Emily. Nick leaves. Lily still doesn't go home, which we already know.
Yeah,
she doesn't want to.
Yeah, we already know that.
Whatever. She's still butthurt over everything that happened.
Butthurt.
Taylor and Casey are hanging out. I guess we kind of get a sign that Taylor is interested in Casey, right?
But she's also interested in Tom.
Yes, I don't know, Taylor. I don't know what you want, girl.
Yeah.
Sabrina thinks about Seth. He actually ends up going there to her to talk to her. And we find out that she went to the cops and turned James in, which I don't think we knew because I knew we knew that she saw the paper, but I don't think we knew the aftermath of that. I guess we're missing random episodes.
Yeah.
Seth tells Sabrina he loves her. He doesn't want her to go anywhere. He doesn't know what he'd do without her, which is so weird to me. I'm like, I don't know how you felt for this woman who looks like your other woman, and this woman is like boring compared to Franny.
So weird, and also so out of I wouldn't say out of nowhere, just so quick.
Yeah, it kind of is quick, right? Because
Yeah,
if you're
because
saying 3 weeks, then it's only been like 3 weeks for that too, even though
yeah,
it's
then
4 months
also like
or
yeah,
five,
it's
six,
quick, and then
six
also
by
like,
now.
does he love her because he had sex with her? Is that what's causing the love?
Like puppy love.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, because like he literally just like has sex with her once, kisses her a few times, I think, because he thought she was Franny, which
Um,
wasn't really his fault if you think of it from the single white female perspective.
yeah, yeah. I'm just pointing out Andrew from One Life to Live is in this episode of Knots Landing right now. I forgot he was in this.
Ooh.
He's only in a couple episodes, I think, because he's a lawyer that works with Mac for a little bit. But anyway,
Well,
um,
since this episode's going to be airing in a few weeks, we're just finishing up a Knots Landing binge on uh, primetime
but
soap, the primetime soaps fast channel for WBTV. Next is Sister. So next week, if you're watching this, you're going to be
yeah,
watching Sister.
Sisters. Well,
Whatever's
yeah,
after
Sisters
it.
are Sisters is only six
6 seasons.
seasons, so that'll be done in a week,
Yeah.
probably. Um, Shannon tells Roy that she talked to Babs and Emily. He's all mad. He's like, "Let the police do their jobs. What are you doing, lady?" Like
Hmm.
that. But Shannon does what she wants, and I like her for that.
Yeah,
Although I
Shannon
don't know,
is such a go
Shannon's
getter.
complicated. She's complicated too because she loves what? She loves Duncan. Duncan's complicated because he'll do anything to keep his family treasure, which is weird too. Because I guess he's a pirate. I don't know the situation. I'm
Yeah, and
confused.
Duncan Hines was a sponsor for the show in a few episodes, which I'm like, huh.
That's pretty
Also,
funny. That's
Crisco, which they
probably why
do
they
go
named.
together.
That's really funny, and that's probably why they named him Duncan. So we find out that Duncan had knocked out a cop. Who the cop doesn't seem to care. I guess Duncan is just charming everybody.
Hmm.
She doesn't seem to really care
Or maybe
that he
he's
was
just
knocked
too,
out.
he's like too like almost out of it to like even care.
Yeah, so
Because he was like,
funny.
it's because Roy was like, go home, get some rest. Like I'm guessing he didn't
Um,
finish a shift.
yeah. Roy wants to use Shannon as bait to get Duncan back. Paul apologizes to Babs
Hmm.
because he said, I should have never went with my dad. Thanks for covering it up and all that stuff. Um, Duncan, I have Duncan hears that James is around, so I guess yeah, James is still around in these episodes, I think, right? Or in this one, maybe. Um,
Let's see. I thought he showed his face at some point.
yeah, Meg
Yeah.
is nervous. James calls Tonya, so yep, he is. Meg listens at the door, wherever she's at. Seth and Sabrina talk about love, blah, blah, blah. Holden comes clean to Lily, but it was just a dream. I'm like, I hate when they do that because they do it for like a whole episode and then it's like, oh, you just woke up. I'm like, so then that's not how it's going to work out. She's going to find out from somebody else and then
Hmm.
she's going to dump Holden and he's going to date
Hmm.
that Pamela person.
Yep,
But
and
why
then
does that,
Lily's gonna be with somebody else.
right? But why does Dusty break up with that Pamela person? I'm curious about.
That's what I want to know.
Right now they seem close and stuff like
Or
that.
maybe there's a triangle. Not that we want one,
Taylor,
but
I know, not with that bunch. I don't really care about them right now. Sorry, Holden Lily fans. I just don't care.
you mean Holden and
um,
Dusty. That's my implication was that Dusty and Pam were going to fight over. I mean, Dusty and Holden were going to fight over
oh yeah,
Pam. Yeah, so
that too.
Holden and Dusty.
I'm not into that either. I'm only into Dusty and Lily. I would like them to kind of get together. I feel like I do remember like fans being either hardcore Holden and Lily or Dusty and Lily. I remember like when I was
Oh,
watching,
okay.
I remember fans of that. Like people like really are stance one or the other. And I see why Dusty for sure. I do not see why
Oh, I
Holden
see why
at
for
this
Dusty. I
point.
definitely see it. I
It
see
doesn't
why
get
for
deep. It
Holden, but
doesn't.
that's because remember I started
You
watching
started
later
probably when he was game.
when
Yeah.
they calmed Holden down a lot.
Yeah.
But consideration of Holden, no.
Taylor and Casey are hanging. She says buy Lila flowers, or just show up at her door because you know you want to, and like she's
Mm-hmm.
trying to give them good advice. So that's why I'm like, girl, like, do you want this man? I don't know. Um, and then she's like, what if Lila wants to stay in New York? If she make as a hit and all that stuff. And then like I forget what he says, but then he walks away, and she's like, well, I'll be waiting to make you feel less lonely. And I'm like, so do you want to? I don't know. I guess she's just being his friend, and I guess if he's like, "All right, let's hook up," she'll be like, "Okay, good." I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I guess she's being a bigger person here because I get it because she's crushing on him, but I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't know what she's doing.
Me neither.
Um, Tom warns Emily about James. Um, James and Tonio meet up. James says he's leaving town for a little bit until everything cools down.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he uh, he wants Tonio to take over Lucinda's company in the next year or so. He's like, you got a year, try to get her company. If you don't do what I want, then I'm gonna tell you that, or the police are gonna get an anonymous tip that you were involved with me and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So Tonio, of course, I don't know if he does what he wants at this point because he doesn't really do anything yet. He's just in Meg with these scenes as we see. Um, Tom visits Babs to question Paul about what he knows. Tonya thinks Meg cheated.
Mm-hmm.
I guess because she's acting really weird. Because I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I get why he thinks this, but she's mad at him for it. And I'm like, well, you gotta tell him what. It makes no sense. Like Tonio knows James is there, so and she knows that. Like, why won't you just talk to Tonio? I don't understand why she's
Yeah.
keeping the
Just talk
secret
to
from her.
Tonio. He'll
Communication,
understand.
people. Communication is key in relationships. Everyone out there. Um,
Definitely.
James, James and Nick meet up. Um, he tells them that he'll be back, and Nick's like starting to talk to him about what his plan is, and he just disappears. James is gone. I'm like, that just goes to show you, Nick, your loyalty to this man who doesn't give a shit what you're saying. So, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you really should just leave town.
Yeah.
But he doesn't, and then we'll see what's going to happen in this next episode, which is why I
Mm-hmm.
continued on. Duncan and Shannon are together. I guess it's at her place. I can't really tell what places they're at. He would be
Yeah.
stupid to go back to the castle if he's on the run. They talk about getting James, blah blah blah. They talk about the same things over and over. I feel like she's like, "I love you," and he's like, "I love my fortune more than you, but I still love you second, basically, right?"
Mm-hmm.
Tom questions Paul about James. Um, they do think that Nick is his contact. We didn't see how they caught on to Nick.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of wish they did,
Yeah.
right? Because we
Yeah,
didn't see
because
that.
the last time we saw it was Tom goes out. Tom like after Nick leaves goes outside of Emily's house, like just at the door, and it's like, what are you, like, kind of sort of saying, what are you up to, Nick? So I'm
Yeah,
thinking Tom might have figured it out, but we didn't see it.
yeah, we didn't see it. But he must have seen something or heard something, but we don't see really why. But we know Margot goes and searches on her own because that's what Margot does.
Yeah.
As she did it with the previous stuff that the before we watched in 1986. Remember where she went and tracked down them, and then she ended up falling and losing the baby. So she knows what can happen if you don't call back up.
Yep.
Girl, idiot. Anywho, um, Nick catches Margot in his house because she's by herself looking around. I guess to find proof that he's in cahoots with James.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is it because he pulls a gun on her. So there's your proof, girl.
Yep, there's the proof.
She says that she was clued in when he wanted a leave to like help his family, and he doesn't have any family. He's an orphan. Oops.
Oops.
Um, so as all criminals do, they get all excited to tell somebody their situation. Like, ooh, I get to tell this woman everything because now I'm just gonna kill her.
Yeah,
So
because
he tells
it's
her
yeah.
everything under the sun. I killed Doris. I went to her hotel room after she saw me here, and I killed her. And who else did he kill? He killed the other
Really
dude. He
killed.
didn't kill the captain. He said I didn't kill the captain. That was somebody else that worked for James. That's where they set up Emily for that in case he needed to blackmail her eventually.
Hmm.
James is very methodic. He sets up
He is.
things so he can hold the things over their head constantly.
Hmm.
He's really a smart criminal. Um,
A smooth criminal, if you will.
yeah, the other one that died was that other one that we never knew.
Yeah.
Remember, that was in 1986, which I forget her name. I think it begins
Hmm.
with a C, but I could be wrong.
So that means that
But
this has
anyway,
been going on since 1986.
yeah, yeah. So this has come to a head now, finally. But again, it's probably only been 6 weeks. So according to soap logic, um, Hal wants to bring Nick in and book him. So I guess they have enough stuff to book him on. They
Hmm.
don't really talk about that. Um, Tom asks where Margot is, and he says something like she wanted the address for Nick's house, so she's there, and Tom runs off. Just
Hmm.
again, not telling any backup and whatnot. But thanks to the smart people at the police force, they're able to tell them the last thing that they did, at least, or
Hmm.
wanted information, so they know where to go eventually. I put Lucinda and Opal talk because it's Opal from All
Opal,
My
yep.
Children.
And I
I
just
don't know what else to
realized that
call her. They don't get her name.
I think she's talking in her normal voice because Opal has more of a twang to her voice.
Yeah, yeah. And she's got big hair.
Yeah.
And
Oh, oh yeah, definitely.
full blown mid 80s
Hmm.
hair.
I wonder if
But
is this when she goes on One Life to Live? Does she go on One Life to Live after this?
I honestly don't know. I,
Because I know
I
she
always I
plays a
think
villain on One Life to Live.
I feel that she goes on All My Children in 1989.
Okay, so this is
Um,
87. So I'm wondering if like she does a year on One Life to Live, or maybe she did One
she
Life to Live before it.
could.
But
She
no,
could.
we would have caught her on One Life to Live.
Yeah, well, we've only watched 2 weeks, right? In
Yeah. Oh
86,
yeah.
so
Good point. Good point. Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure. Um, but they want to do a story, or Opal wants to do a story on James Stenbeck's women. I guess because that's controversial. So I guess she has her own show. This Opal
No,
lady, did
I
you
think
get
she's
that?
talking about patterns.
Is she talking about patterns?
She's talking about patterns because like
Okay,
she's saying that like the first show should have James Stenbeck's women.
right.
So I guess she's the executive influence that's like, no, let's make it salacious. Whereas Kim's like, no, and then we'll talk about what happens on patterns later.
Right, right.
It's like, no, we'll talk, no, let's do it this way.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if she had her own show because she said something for another show.
And
I
I
don't
think
know. I forget.
wasn't her name Judith Clayton? Like, and we call her Opal because that's who she played for like most of her career. But
It might be. It
I
might
think it is
be.
Judith Clayton, the one who fought, the one
Oh, I thought
during the wedding. I think that's the same one who fought during the wedding.
no, I thought that was somebody else. That was a dark-haired girl, I thought.
Oh, was I thought it was
I think
Judith Clayton.
it it wasn't Opal, I don't think, because I would have
Oh,
noticed. We didn't meet Opal until we were at the TV thing.
okay,
Because remember, Judith Clayton was the one that was like behind the camera, and that Opal's behind the scenes, I guess.
yeah.
We'll have to look it up. We got
Yeah, we'll have to look
books.
it up. Yeah.
Kim gets to the studio for her talk show. They discuss who to get. Nick admits killing George. That's the other one he killed too.
Okay.
So maybe he didn't kill the first girl. Maybe that was James because he only admits to George and Doris.
Mhm.
Um, oh yeah, and he said that he brought Doris. So he's carrying dead bodies everywhere. He's bringing it to Duncan's. He brought the dead body of Doris to Duncan's bed.
Mhm.
So he's hardcore.
Yeah.
Um, Lisa calls and warns Shannon that the cops are coming. They're on to where, to see where he's at, whatever, to where find Duncan. They come and Duncan runs off and they start shooting at him.
Mm.
Um, Andy and Paul talk. They don't really say anything. Andy kind of
I
gets
don't
mad
say
at them.
much, but I like their friendship.
Are you gonna have me lie for you again? Blah blah blah. Get over it. You're the one that lied in the first place, and you didn't have to.
But I like their
Fool.
friendship. I still like their friendship.
I mean, they're friends for now, but I guess he's mad at them, being hostile toward them.
Mhm.
Um, and you don't have to do what your friend says.
No.
And I wish Paul would say that. I'd be like, listen, I had you lie, but you didn't have to. That's you,
Mhm.
buddy. You're a different person. We do different things. You could have told on me if you really wanted to. Um, Casey and Andy talk about Kathy. She's just Kathy's just drinking away.
Mhm.
Shannon tells Shannon tells Earl that Duncan isn't the Falcon, and they're like, yeah, we kind of know, blah blah blah. And then we find out the caretaker and his wife disappeared. That
Mhm.
worked for Duncan, so obviously they worked for James. Which I didn't think they were onto them, but I guess James wanted to kind of connect, like lose all connections for
Mhm.
now, and then like reset. I guess I don't know. I don't know criminal masterminds and what they think.
Me neither.
He's a really weird criminal too, because I feel like getting your son probably would have been the dumbest thing you could do. Like, yeah, you
Yeah.
could keep, but I guess he's so confident in his villainous that
Mhm.
he just makes stupid mistakes, basically, which is why, now they're on him. Paul calls Nick and warns Tom that Tom might be coming because Paul doesn't know, I guess, the extensive works of his father and how evil he truly is.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah. So now he knows Tom's on the way. That was kind of funny. So him and Margot are like leaving, and she's like, "Oh, I forgot my purse." And he's like, "You're not gonna need that because you're gonna be dead." And she's like, "If they find me without my purse, they're gonna know something's going on." And so he's
Yeah.
like, "All right, fine, grab your purse." And then in the meantime, Tom comes, and he's like, "All right, let's go up the fire escape." And then, of course, she gets smart, yet kind of stupid. She kicks them down, but doesn't go down. Tom rushes through the door, gets shot at by Nick. I'm like, oh man, there's a lot going on here. What's going on?
Well,
Hold on, I gotta rewind it.
first I thought he got shot because
I did
that's
too,
what they want. That's what they wanted you to think.
right? But I guess he was just like, because he was like dazed when he flew on the floor, so he was just like shooting at anything, and he just missed. Thank goodness. Although I feel like he could use a shot in the leg or something.
Mhm.
Um, Tom and Margot are being a little ridiculous. They get on my nerves with each other. 'Cause I'm like, this all could have been prevented, but whatever. Um, Hal gets there and they chase Nick around. Um, in the next scene, we have Pattern starts,
Yay!
and I have the Heart and Soul song. Is that the song for Patterns?
I guess
Did you hear that?
so.
It was
I
either
think
that or. And what is Patterns about?
the episode you said it's about trigger warning teen uh teen suicide or teen depression.
Mm-hmm. And in this, I guess we're seeing that. we have Kathy is with this boy Pete. I don't know where Pete came from. Came out of nowhere. I
Wasn't
guess it's
Pete
just a
from
hookup.
like? Didn't we see Pete before, like at the pool, at
Was
the
he at the
country club?
pool?
I think that was him.
Probably.
I think that was when we first met Kathy. There was a guy with her, and then it was Andy
Okay,
too.
so I guess it's
This
him.
might
And they
have
like
been,
make out.
yeah, this might have been them.
They make out. Andy comes in. The boys fight. Andy stops her from drinking, and we find out like she's going to boarding school. So I guess she's depressed because she doesn't want to leave town. I don't
Hmm.
know. Funny that this episode of Patterns happens to coincide with this girl who's depressed.
Hmm.
Like what a small world. Um,
Small town
Taylor
too.
and Taylor and Casey discuss Shannon and Duncan. Lisa and Earl discuss what happened at Nick's. Because I guess they already heard the word. I don't know how. Because everything just happened. Like what? Like that's really quick. Um, Tom is mad that Margot ran right to hell and didn't like thank him
Hmm.
and whatever. It was stupid. I'm like, all right, so whatever. But I felt like she did thank him, didn't she? When he was when she was there,
I
she's
think
like
so.
because
Yeah.
I think she said, "Oh, thank God you came."
Yeah,
Maybe
she
didn't
did.
like specifically thank him, but like I feel like that was a thanks enough. Like if you
Hmm.
didn't come, I'd be dead. But Tom's all butthurt about that, so I'm like, whatever.
And now, part two of As the World Turns.
Um, Taylor and Tom talk. Um, she basically wants to be there for him.
Hmm.
Margot and Hal get to Shannon. The charges are dropped against Duncan, and Duncan gets to some dock where Nick is. That's how that ended. See, these are all like cliffhangery. That's why I was like, I
Yeah.
want to see more and more. Um, so yeah, Holden and Lily help get ready for this wedding that Gracie, this woman's name is that they work for, and this
Hmm.
dude. So yeah. And then after that, I don't think I have any more notes about that until later.
Yeah, I do want to say
Because
that
it's
I did like the choice, not because of the haystack, just because I do want, I did go to school for film for a little bit. I did like how they panned from like one side of the hay to like the groomsmen to the other side of the hay with the bridesmaids. I did
oh,
like
and then
that. I did like that camera choice, that directing
we
choice.
must talk we must talk about that Loretta who came in and stripped. I did watch that. I was like, what is happening? I feel like I need a shot or two.
Me too.
She dances terribly too,
I
this
ran out of
stripper, or whatever.
milkshake.
But I guess she came out of nowhere, this stripper. And I guess they're having a joint
I
bachelorette party,
guess
because why would
so. That's weird because I.
this woman strip and then she gets on the bar at the diner or what, not bar, but where the people eat. What's
Hmm.
it called? Is it called a bar? I don't
I guess it is.
know. Meg is mad at Tonio for thinking she cheated.
Hmm.
Ay, ay, ay. Nick and Duncan fight over his gun. Duncan punches him out, but Duncan does not know that Nick is bad, but he's just trying to get rid of him because he's a
Hmm.
cop and he thinks still that they're after him. Seth goes to talk to Meg. Seth acts like a tool to Tonio. These Snyders, they really do get on my nerves.
They really the men do. Yes.
I even the women do too. Like
Well, yeah,
I
you're
don't
right.
know.
Iva can. Yeah, Iva
It's
can be much. At least
and
right now can be
I get it, but at the same time, you've been dealing with this for however long, weeks,
3 weeks.
and just like keep everybody at an arm's length. Be like, listen, I know your situation. I would really just like you to stay away from me. Um, but they, it's the same stuff over and over. It's annoying.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Franny, we find out. I didn't know that Franny worked at a suicide hotline before. I might have missed it in the past, but she's working
It
at
doesn't.
one.
It kind of comes together with like what she's majoring in and stuff like that. So
Um,
even if it wasn't
yeah.
mentioned.
So Casey and her talk about their loves, blah blah blah. She tells Casey her situation, um, about Sabrina and blah blah blah.
Hmm.
Shannon is concerned about Duncan, which she always is. Margot and Hale are at Mona Lisa's. Tom and Taylor go there. You know how it is. When people go, everybody goes.
Hmm.
Tonio questions Meg about what's up. Meg won't say anything because she doesn't know how to communicate.
Yep.
Taylor and Margot talk in the bathroom, like powdering their nose or whatever they were doing. Margot wants no parts of her, basically. She blows her off. She's like, whatever, lady. I'm
Hmm.
not into you. I don't really care what you're doing, and I don't care. Um, Lisa butts in, tells Tom off about Margot. Margot tries to talk to Tom, but he's mad
Hmm.
because he didn't get what he wanted when he saved her life. I don't know what he wanted, a hug. I don't know. Like, whatever. Pat my male ego for saving you. I don't know what he wanted. Um, Meg knows Tonio was working for James and that it's dirty money, she says to, I forget who. Iva, maybe. I don't remember.
Hmm.
Or maybe she said it to herself. I can't remember. Duncan sees that on the like a TV or the radio or something. He sees that he's free, so he's like, "Oh, good, I can go home and be happy." Or wherever the hell I think he's just running around town. Again, I don't know the connection or where they are exactly in town. Casey and Franny go to Mona Lisa. Seth is working there, of course.
Yeah.
Anything to make life awkward. Lisa and Taylor talk. She says that she knows the situation, that she's just friends with Tom, whatever, whatever you want to do. And she basically tells her everything that she was going to say. So Lisa's like, well, I guess I really don't have much to say to you then. All right. Just go. So Taylor handled her with care. Like she's already like on to how Lisa is, which is pretty funny because she just got to town. Um, Shannon wonders if uh, Duncan was hanging out with no TV, radio. She's just like worried about him.
Hmm.
And she says something like, if is he just around with mooses? Or is moose? Did you catch that?
I didn't catch that, no, but this is funny.
I don't know if it was like a place, maybe called Mooses. Because I'm like, why would she say that? I'm pretty sure that's what she said, though. I even went back and listened to it like 3 times. And I'm like, did I hear that right? She's like, oh, like, I don't know if he's anywhere or just in like the middle of nowhere with just mooses. And I'm like, what?
Hmm.
Anyway, I thought it was funny, so I did make note. Shannon fills Duncan in on Nick. Um, Margot and Hal run from Tonio's. What? Oh, wait, what? Run from, run off to find him. Meg
Hmm.
mentions a button that's missing from Tonio's jacket.
Mm.
And on the pier, the cops find, what did they find? A button.
A button.
Oops. How do you get these loose buttons just coming off randomly? So I guess they're going to trace Tonio to James or
Hmm.
whatever. Why was he on the pier or wherever they're at? It looks like a pier. Hal tells Margot to call Tom and thank him for saving her. That's all I got for that one. Then we have this random episode that goes with everything, but we don't know the
Hmm.
date. The Hughes are watching Kim's show. I don't really have too much for this one because it's basically like the show patterns. Like we're watching that as it coincides with a possible teen overdose
Mm.
and
You've watched
depression.
after school specials, haven't you?
Yeah, it definitely feels like it, right?
Okay, that was the next question.
Yeah,
Felt like an after
it
school
does.
special.
It did for sure. Everything they were saying, I'm like, I've seen this before. So,
I've
where
seen
have
this
I
before.
seen this?
Where have I seen this before? CBS Spring
Yeah,
Break special theme plays. I'm like, interesting.
yeah. John worries about Andy. Andy's like, oh, Kathy's leaving town, whatever. She happens to be watching the show as she pops some pills, and we know that she's drunk already, so we know this ain't gonna end well for her. But at least she's watching, she's tuning in. She's a
Yeah,
viewer.
that's a good sign that you need help. If you're tuning
Yeah,
into something that's helpful and it gives you the suicide hotline or a teen talk hotline, whatever they call it back then, because there is no suicide hotline. There, like, not 988 did not exist until very recently. Like,
yeah.
you get, yeah, you know that you need help if you're popping pills and drinking or doing both at the same time, like Nikki Newman.
Yeah, right. Um, Hal and Margot are still at dinner. Tonio comes over. He wants a full report on investigations.
Mm.
How does he have say to do that,
Who?
Tonio? Because I'm like, he's not
Because he's
involved with the cops,
powerful.
right? Is he a mayor? Like, what is he like?
No,
What
because
is
he's powerful. He's rich. He has a lot of money. He has negative influence on people. He's powerful. Now, I could say that he's white, but he is not white. He is from Montega, which implies that he's not white.
But I still don't understand why he can do that. Like, I feel like he's not the head of the police force. Like, they don't have to tell him just because he's powerful. Like, what power does he have? Doesn't he like loosen his company? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, he was a part of Lucinda's company, but he did the Montgomery thing, which is why Sierra slapped him 3 times. And I will keep
Right.
bringing that up
Because you love it so.
because it is such a great scene.
Yeah, I need to know more of why he could tell the cops of what he wants from them.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
Um,
Also, I'm trying to think of familial connections, but no Snyder is a cop. Uh, I mean, guess if you want to play fast and loose with this, he was married to Sierra, who her her current husband, who is dead, is connected with Margot
Dead.
because they're siblings. So
Right. Hmm. So Patterns plays, and Andy and John are watching. All the Hugheses are together watching. It's her first show, so everybody's watching.
mm-hmm.
Um, Kathy watches. Casey and Meg catch up in the next scene. Um, Meg asks how Lila's doing, but you don't know because he forgets how to communicate too. Nobody knows
Mm-hmm.
how to call people or anything. Sierra comes by with the baby. Doesn't do much. Tonio shows up. Um, Tom visits Franny. Um, and I did make note that the phones were ringing off the wall while Franny just takes a little break with Tom. I'm like, she don't have time to be talking. People call in here, nobody's answering the phones. But she does eventually go back. She's like, I gotta go because the phones are off the hook.
Mm-hmm.
Tonio talks to Sierra, and he said he's gonna send her a check or something. And she's like, I don't want any contact with you, even by mail. I'm like, wow, that's hardcore. Like, I'd be okay if you send me a check, but that's it. Like, what?
Yeah.
That's hardcore. Like, she really don't want anything to do with this man, which is a shame because they live in the same town and they always bump into each other,
Mm-hmm.
especially when they go out to eat.
Yep.
Um, Margot comes to Kathy's on a tip from the hotline. I guess Franny had called her, but they didn't show it. But we see Kathy's basically passed out. Well, Franny ended up with the phone call and was talking to her and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and Meg and Pamela talk about James. Nothing exciting. Franny and
Nope.
Casey talk about Kathy because Kathy's already in the hospital. Franny's like, oh, I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know that I was talking to Kathy. But whatever. I mean, either way, you help the girl because she's in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Andy blames himself for what happened with Kathy because he knew kind of it was going down a dark path for her.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that was kind of funny because like John's like shaking it and he's like, dude, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. He's like, it is my fault. Blah blah blah. And then John like angrily tells Andy what's about to happen to Kathy because he's like, what's going on with her? Like, what are they doing to her? He's like, you really want to know? And he just goes off. And he's like, why are you so mad at me? I didn't do anything. He's like, wait, you just said you did.
Yeah.
What is this conversation? What is happening here?
It's an after school special. It's not supposed to make sense.
It was so
It's
funny.
supposed to be dramatic.
Yeah. Franny tells Sierra about Sabrina and all that situation. Margot tells Franny. Um, Tom tries to talk to Margot and she kind of blows him off. She's like, no, we're just here for on business. We don't need to talk. Whatever, buddy. And Kathy needs Narcan, which is
Mm-hmm.
the drug to help bring you back to life, to clean out your whatever's in you.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
I've
all I
seen
got for
posters.
that one.
I've seen posters at the bus stop about Narcan, Narcan training and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah. One more episode. Holden
Yay.
wants to marry Lily now, and she's
Why?
like, no. Right.
She's like,
And
nope,
she's like, no, there's a lot going on. No, there's too much
no.
going on. I almost feel like they might end up getting engaged or something, and that's
Hmm.
when she'll find out that he knew all of this stuff, and then she'll end it. But I'm not positive. But that would be the most dramatic, I would think.
Yeah.
Josh Rod meets with Iva. He wants to talk to her. He says he will leave. He wants to go find Lily, and he's really smart about it. He's like, we know Dusty knows where she's at. I want to go find her. I'll just talk to her, and then if she doesn't want me here, I'm out.
Hmm.
But I was like, get away from me. You're insensitive. Blah blah. Like whatever, girl.
Hmm.
I get it. But just he wants to help get your daughter back. Like
Hmm.
just work together for 5 minutes. Do what he
Yeah.
says and see if he does what he says. You know what I mean? What have you got to lose? You'll have your Lily back, and then I don't understand. Iva's being
Yeah.
annoying.
And then if it doesn't work, then you can just go ahead and blame him for everything. Just like, okay, just like you have been doing. But I'm going to say this because I know people are going to yell at me for this. I do not blame Iva for the rape. That's not the part that I'm talking about. I'm talking about everything else that yes, she's still going through the trauma of him abusing her like that. But it's getting too much. I'm sorry. It's getting too much.
It is again, he's even saying like I know you don't like me, like but we just gotta work together to get like he's just
Hmm.
trying to get through to Iva and he's just not. I'm hoping that maybe this what happens next will help, but whatever, we'll see. We see Emma is just out cold somewhere. I guess she's on the farm somewhere,
Hmm.
and we don't know what's going on with her. She's just like, oh, and just like whatever.
Just passed
Um,
out.
I put about the hoedown wedding that Lily and Holden. I fast forwarded this stuff because it was a good like 10 minutes of something that we don't care about these people. We don't know these
We
people.
really don't.
We don't care.
This feels like a
Um,
spin-off, but not really.
it does, right?
Like,
Doesn't it feel like it doesn't go with anything? I don't
yeah, it
know.
feels like a
It's
backdoor
weird.
pilot to a spin-off,
Yeah.
which
Um,
no, it wouldn't, because the 1987 Bold and Beautiful premiered, so that doesn't make sense if they wanted another soap opera, because
yeah,
the lineup is packed like meat, like it's.
yeah, it's weird. John and Iva talk about, Emma's debt and whatever. He's like, and John's just trying to help them like figure things out. Like he's like, oh, Holden can get a job when he gets back with Lucinda again. She'll take him back. Blah blah blah. Dusty and Pam are on. They talk about stuff. Andy and Rod join them. Um, Rod talks to Dusty about seeing Lily because and he's like, well, I don't want to I know where she's at, but I don't want to. Can you get it approved by Emma first, and then we'll go from there.
Mm-hmm.
Smart boy. That's a good way to go.
Mm-hmm.
And Josh is cool with it. He's like, okay, I'll go talk to her.
Mm-hmm.
And good thing because she is laying on the ground. Margot, Hal, and Roy um are on. They're all looking for Nick. They're at the police station. Nothing exciting there. Duncan and Shannon are at the castle. Someone's lurking around.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they talk about other possible people working for James, whatever. I think his one dude is still working for James, right? His current right hand man, which we didn't see in this,
Yeah. And then
unless he
Lucinda, of
disappeared
course,
too.
under her will, against her will, I mean.
Right, right, right. True that. Um, Dusty has a flashback of Lily saying she can't trust him anymore because he had called and talked to John.
Mm-hmm.
Lily's getting on my nerves. Annoying.
Yeah.
Dusty tells John to leave Andy alone, um, because he's already being hard on himself, and John just wants to be there for him, but he's being there in an annoying way,
Mm-hmm.
pecking at him. Rod is heading to Emma's. He sees her on the ground. He picks her up and goes off somewhere. Um, Margot, Phil, Duncan, and Shannon in
Well, he
on
also
everything.
resuscitates her. I'm sorry to cut you off. He also tries to resuscitate her.
Yeah. Um,
You
yeah,
say
we've seen the
Margot.
same things. Margot asks why he didn't go to the police. At Duncan, and then Duncan's like, "Well, I went to the police and warned you guys, but nobody did anything, and you had somebody working on the force, which was Nick, stopping whatever he was saying. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And they know that he's holding something back, and then we find out Duncan says he won't give up his birthright. Something about the Angus buried treasure that is his, and he'd rather have that over even Shannon. And Shannon seems to understand. She seems cool with it. But I guess I would be cool with somebody that loved treasure too. Why not?
Yeah.
Treasure. I'd
Hey,
be
Duncan,
cool with
let's go
a
get
rich
some treasure.
man. Yeah. Rod runs Emma to the hospital. Um, records. We find out that the records from the Stewart cabin are gone.
Mm.
That they're erased at the police station, I guess. Dusty calls Lily about Emma, which is why I think they're gonna come home.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, he wants to talk to Holden, and Holden's busy because they're at the hoedown wedding. Iva comes in and she goes off on Rod once again. What did you say to my mother? John tells Iva she had a heart attack and that she could have died if Josh didn't find her. That's all I
Mm-hmm.
got. Yeah. So Iva's still getting on my nerves. I'm hoping she'll change a little bit and be
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, let's work together. But I highly doubt it. I feel like it's going to be the same stuff.
Yeah, even
Like
though
you probably caused my mom's heart attack.
I kind of know what happens just because I accidentally watched an extra episode. Do you know? Do you not know? I mean, not know. Do you want to predict what happens next? I'm not gonna say it.
Um, I really don't know. I'm hoping Iva will work with them. I don't know what's gonna happen with Andy. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of unpredictable. For me, besides the same conversations happening over and over again.
Anything else you want to mention about the show?
No, I'm excited that things are happening now. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
finally Lily and Holden will return home in the mix of all this drama that's already waiting for them. We didn't see Lucinda, right? At all in these
Very
episodes.
briefly, very briefly,
Okay.
when she was in the studio getting patterns ready.
And Lila must be just busy
Lila's
doing
Lila's in New
hardball
York.
things.
No, we saw
Well,
Lila.
no, We did? No, we didn't.
Yeah, she was singing. Or was it? Maybe I might have put that one up. I thought it was. No, we didn't. No, we didn't. Nope, it was that one episode. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah.
So you got that to look forward to. You got Lila to look forward to.
Yeah. It's good. So hopefully Casey goes there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I'm excited to see more as always. It's good stuff. I like it. Except for the Lily Holden hoedown wedding thing that we'll never see these people again, but whatever.
Never, ever.
Unless someone does happen to come to town. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? I don't remember any of these people when I was watching in 1997, 8, 9. Like I don't remember Lily even mentioning those people. I don't remember if any of her kids were named after these people. Nothing.
Yeah, right. That's what they usually do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's all I got.
All right. Thank you for watching our recap of As the World Turns. As always, you can find us on the socials at Queers and Soaps. And until next time, bye.
Bye, y'all.